Hello, it's Eric at RC Monster Garage Motor Style Shop. Today I want to show you something cool, how to fix your 3D printer. Most of the 3D printers have kind of the same problem. This specific printer, it's a printer that they only sold on Amazon. Someone made it specifically for them. It's called Monoprice. They were fairly cheap, they're about $220, but they have an annoying problem that the filament will keep breaking and stuck here in the channel. The extruder. So let's show how to fix it. Let's just jump into it. First of all, you need to remove this strap just so you can expose this piece. You're gonna press this blue piece down and then pull the line. Now mine is already empty. I pulled my filament out already and it's broken in, so it's no matter if you have a little bit filament here, you can just pull it up and just cut it. And what you want to do next is very simple. Make sure that everything is moving freely. You don't want it to be tight. Now the next thing you have to do is to remove your fan. All you need to do is removing this two pins. There's a left and a right. It's not really matter. I'm gonna show later how to put them back. Just put them aside. Now what you see in front of you here, make sure that this is cold. Do not plug it or anything. Make sure that this is standing like this and it's cold. And now when you're looking inside, there is two bolts. It's actually screws, not bolt. It's like set screws. Those are Phillips. Just open those. They very loose, so just turn it out. And don't lose those small machine screws. They're very hard to get all of. Okay, this is out. We're just gonna set it aside over here. Now this is our extruder. We can just remove it out and start seeing where the problem is. So it still have a piece broken inside. I could see it right there, and it's going all the way through, and it's got stuck over here. So first thing I want to do is disconnect this part. If you just grab it, what it's called, and turn it, it will just come right out. Okay, and then we have over here the head. The head is okay. If it's clogged, when you turn it on, it will just release itself out. I'm gonna show how to do that. Now what we got here, this thing that almost look like a tattoo machine, and now we want to see where is it stuck inside. So in order to do that the right way, we want to remove this copper piece. It's a brass, not copper, the same thing. So we need to have a tool. I use this small vice grip. You can use any tool that you can just grip it with. This can damage it a little bit, so be gentle. Don't hold it too strong. I just hold it this way, and I take my needle nose plier. You can take any wrench and just loosen it up a little bit and just start opening it by hand. It's better to do everything by hand, not to use force. Okay, and then you can see there is the filament that got stuck. So now this filament right now, it's still stuck here on this piece, but if you look for the inside of this is completely hollow right now, so it's not a problem. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put this aside, and we have to figure out how to solve this problem. So what happened here, it's actually got pushed from the top inside, and it's got stuck really strong. So what I need to do, I'm gonna try to do this with the patent plier, just to hold the wire and just push it through in, or pull it out, whatever will work, just to take it out of the position that it's in. Okay, let's try to show the camera. It's stuck really bad. It's actually just broke, but the piece is still sitting over there, and this is a major problem. You can replace this entire part, but you don't really need to. All you need to do right now is heat up something that can actually push the leftover that melted here on the top. Probably the machine was getting too hot, and the heat traveled all the way up and melt the filament here on the top before it fit in. A lot of times it will happen because the way that the line sitting here, if it's a little bit loose, it will just build up the heat and melt on the top. It's something that happened, need to get fixed. It's not a big deal. Now in order to do this, you have to be very careful. You have to hold this. Let's actually hold it with a tool because we're going to heat it up. Okay, this is pretty stable inside. So there's two ways to heat it up. So what I do, the way I do it, I just have a rod that is exactly the same thickness as a filament. I'm just going to heat it up real quick. You can do it with a lighter or with a torch. You can do it with a lighter. It's just going to take you a couple seconds to get it hot enough. Or I have the torch here. If it will not get hot enough, we can use the torch. The filament don't need so much heat in order to melt. Okay, it's smoking, so I think it's good enough, and I'm just gonna try to poke it through. And it's still pretty hard, but it's got stick to it, so I know that it's working itself out. You can see if I touch it right now, you can actually push and pull the filament. Now let's heat it up with a torch because I want it to be very, very hot. Kids, don't try it at home. Let your parents do it, but this is the best way to do that. I'm just gonna make this thing red hot. Make sure I'm not burning my hand. Yeah, you see, it's red hot. It means that it's gonna melt this piece right away. I'm just gonna go and poke it through side to side. And that's it. I just melted the filament, and there it is. This white piece of plastic. I hope it zoom in on it. This is what got stuck. So now it's completely loose. Now, trick is you have to let it cool down before you pull it back. If not, it's gonna stuck back in. I'm using aluminum here, so the aluminum get cold really fast. I make sure I'm gonna put it in a couple times, in and out. Just make sure it's clean. And then I want to take the piece of filament that we just took out and just run it through it and see that it's running smooth enough. If it's running smooth enough, it's good. I know I'm not gonna have any problem. I'm gonna try it again, both sides, put it in, and it's passing. It's good. So right now this is kind of almost finished to put back together. Now when you put this together, there's another piece of plastic right there. You need the two pieces to touch together. Now they hook up, they touch together. I can see it from the hole. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab this with a needle nose plier and with my patent plier, and I just make sure that this is snug, just a little bit. The reason you do that, so it's not gonna open from the vibration. This machine vibrates a lot when it's going left and right. And then we're gonna pull a little bit of the filament. I broke a piece out of it. It's an older filament, so it's very fragile. And what I'm gonna do, I just put it from the top and push it all the way through, and it's moving very, very freely, so I'm happy with it. So what I can do now is I can just put this thing back in, and it is good to go. But before I'm gonna do that, I want to test one more thing. I want to test inside here that the filament did not clog something that I need. So I'm gonna heat this thing up again and show you guys something. I want this thing to be boiling hot right now. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go to the filament head over there, and I just gone through it, and I leave it inside, and what it does, it's actually clean the entire inside of it. I can just turn it inside right now and take it out, and it will take all the junk and clunk that got stuck inside. I'm trying to do that in a way that you guys can see, so it's much harder to pull. Okay, and then I can take my needle nose. Got a little bit, it's got a little bit stuck because it shrank too quick. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna heat it up again. I'm gonna put it on very, very small heat. I'm heating up the entire aluminum piece. Aluminum will transfer the heat almost into the entire area, so it will be easier to manipulate. Yeah, this thing was very, very dirty because it got clogged really good. Yeah, this thing was really dirty inside. It got stuck in a way that I cannot even tell you guys. Like, I'm pulling the material and these small pieces of filament coming out. Oh, still hot. Still very hot. Okay, let's close this on it. Okay. So now I released the entire filament head. This is pretty perfect because now I have the filament sit exactly where I want it, and I took it from the inside. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make it boiling hot so it will melt everything inside of it. So the filament right now inside here, whatever leftover is gonna be gone in a second. See, it just loses itself out. But what I'm doing, I'm just burning it. The better way is to just throw it to the garbage and put a new one. They're so cheap. Now it's red hot. You can see that it's red hot, and you have to be super careful with that. It's all loose out. It's burned all the filament material that was inside. It's all gone completely. There's nothing left. So now I could see the whole inside, that it's clear. What you do, you usually lift it up and point it to the light, and then you can just see that it's clear. Now this is boiling hot. We don't really want to even touch this. It's gonna burn you right away. So meanwhile, we're gonna put this aside for a second, and then we're gonna go back here. What we're gonna do while this is getting cold, first thing, we're gonna put this thing in. We're gonna start turning it. Of course, it's all by hand, very gently, and then we don't push it all the way in through yet. The reason is because this need to be flush mount in. This need to go all the way in, and then this will sit on top of it. Let's see, is this cool enough to touch it? Almost. It's pretty decent. Okay, I'm gonna grab it with this so I'm not burning myself. I can do it by hand. It's cooling down faster than the aluminum. So all you have to do is actually just roll it in. I'm gonna lose the top a little bit so it's gonna roll up easier. Now what we did while doing this, we actually clean everything from the extruder. The extruder is completely clean right now. This one is the number 4 head, and it's completely clean. Okay, this is as tight as it's gonna be. And now we're closing the top. Okay, it's closed, lock into place, and then they just need to go simply back to where we took it from. And now you just need to go and do everything you just did reverse. So there's another piece of plastic that just fell. This is just like a protective for the fan, protective film. You just put it back there, and you're taking this. This is gonna go first. Put it back in, it will just fall into place. And this is actually what holding the entire heating element for the extruder. This is closed, and this is closed, and this is sit nice and stable. Yeah, and then now we are going to close this. So the way that you do that, you just take those pins, go from one side to another, and then you push them up. That's it. Let me show it from the side. You take in one side to another side, and then you're just gonna push it up, and that's it. It's sitting right where it's supposed to be. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your filament back in. But before you do that, what I recommend to do is to take your filament, make sure that it's straight, put it through, and this part is pretty important to do, because what I'm doing right now is making sure that the line itself don't have any broken filament in it. Okay, now it does. This is a glow-in-the-dark filament that I have on the machine right now, and it's super fragile. So I'm trying to push it in, and it just snapped on me. Let's do it one more. Okay, I'm going to release the top because it's not moving smooth enough, and I want to see why. That's it. Now, we have the filament came out from the top. Now we're going to back it up, put it through the channel over here, the white channel, and then we're going to start feeding it in. Okay, now you want it to have about that much out. What you want to do is just put it in and make sure that it slides all the way, and then slide the head in, and now you're good to go. Last thing to do is to wrap the top again. It's very important that this is wrapped. If it's not gonna get wrapped right way, those wires like have bad tendency to kind of separate and break from the movement. So I really recommend to try to wrap it as best as you can, just so it's going to be stable. And now the only thing that's left to do is need to plug it in, turn the machine on. I'm going to go right away to heat monitor, and I'm going to set it up to start preheat. And then while it's starting preheat, I'm gonna go to the exit and move it to the home setting. When you go to the home setting, what are you doing? I'm taking just a business card and put it underneath and see that there is some resistance, and then I know that this resistance that I have right now, it's the pressure I need in order for the machine to work right. So we're gonna go back. Okay, so now the machine is gonna try to start the print. We're gonna let it run a little bit, see how it's gonna do. Okay, now this filament start coming out. I'm gonna go over here. So the repair was working, and I'm making a square to check that the machine is set up the right way. And it did a perfect square, so I know it's working good. And if you try to move it, it sticks pretty good. That's it. This was the how to repair your Monoprice, or actually any other 3D printer. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. See you in my next video. Don't forget to comment or ask question. Talk to you later.